Two prominent Philadelphians, Judge John Innes Clark Hare and author and playwright George Boker, meet in October of 1862 to discuss setting up a club where they can meet apart from the Southern sympathizers. This social institution would be the Union Club. December 27, 1862, members met at the home of Dr. John Forsyth Meggs at 1208 Walnut Street. At this meeting, the Articles of the Association and the present name, the Union League of Philadelphia, were adopted. During the Civil War, the League would be the leading propaganda mouthpiece of the North, raising more than 20,000 men for the Federal Army and leading the effort to establish Camp William Penn, the first training camp for colored soldiers. The Union League became a leading advocate of emancipation and civil rights, and its members would be among the most important and vital elements of Union victory. By the end of the war, the Union League had accomplished more to uphold the American Constitution and preserve our nation than any other private organization founded during that time. The hard and tireless work of its members was a vital element of Union victory. Lincoln's death on April 15th of 1865 shook the country and the League. Philadelphia City Council named the Union League as the responsible institution to receive the body of the martyred president on its arrival in the city. The funeral train was met by 30,000 people. Opening ceremonies had been scheduled for May 11th of 1865. Originally, the plans were for a gala affair because President Lincoln had promised to be there to dedicate the new permanent home of the Union League. But due to his tragic death, the lavish plans were canceled. In the years following the war, Philadelphia would become the most important manufacturing city in the country. The leaders of the great industrial, financial, and transportation concerns of the Workshop of the World were League members. Men such as Cramp, Diston, Baldwin, Drexel, Stotesbury, Widener, Stetson, Elkins, and Wanamaker helped to build a city and a club with national impact and importance. Following Union victory, the League turned its attention from the battles of the Civil War to the battles of civil rights. It fought for the ratification of the Reconstruction Amendments to the Constitution, which abolished slavery, promised equality, and granted voting rights to all Americans. In Philadelphia, the League and its members were at the forefront of the first American civil rights movement and fought for the desegregation of trolley cars and the enforcement of the 14th Amendment, which had given African Americans the right to vote. As the century closed out, the League adopted the motto, Amor Patriae Ducit, or Love of Country Leads. As a new century dawned, the League had become a powerful civic and social institution, one which attracted dignitaries and leaders from across the country and around the world. They were drawn to the League to engage in political and civic debate, solidify business relationships, and enjoy the special hospitality and grandeur of the club. With the entry of the United States into World War I in 1917, Philadelphia once again became a military, logistics, and transportation hub for the war effort. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers from across America came through Philadelphia on their way to Europe. Once again, the League sprang into action to assist troops on their way to war by creating the Union League Soldiers and Sailors Annex. A precursor of the USO, this organization provided the comforts of home to thousands of troops during the War to End All Wars. By the close of the war, the Union League's subscriptions to the Liberty Bonds reached almost $17 million, one of the largest amounts raised by any similar institution in the nation. Like the country and the city, the League and its members prospered during the Roaring Twenties, and a growing and thriving membership enjoyed the social interaction and special hospitality provided at their wonderful club. The clouds of economic turmoil, however, were gathering. The Great Depression soon brought extraordinary challenges to the country and city. The League set up a committee on unemployment relief to raise funds for heads of families throughout the city who were out of work and to provide breakfast for school children who might otherwise go hungry. In less than 2 months, $40,000 was contributed. December 7th, 1941, Pearl Harbor was bombed, and the U.S. declares war. More than 300 members would serve their country in the armed forces during the war. When the war ended, the League's War Veterans Committee went into the business of finding jobs for the returning veterans. In all, over 1,200 jobs were found. Following World War II, activism returned to the League in the form of the Boys' Work Committee. Founded in 1947, it began an annual Good Citizenship Award program and dinner to help reward and reinforce the tenets of civic responsibility. In 1986, the name was changed to Youth Work, when girls were included among the award recipients. In the early 1980s, there was considerable discussion around the League to amend its bylaws to admit women members. After much further consideration, discussion, and debate privately conducted within the League House, and as observed in the press, and therefore throughout Philadelphia, the League membership voted in favor of amending its bylaws to admit women members. The first class to include women members was inducted in 1986. As the League reached the end of the first decade of the 21st century, it completed its inventory of essential facilities and services. The Robert Wilder Executive Health and Fitness Center was opened, then expanded. The Inn at the League was opened and then expanded. The Sansom Street Garage was acquired and renovated. And finally, a world-class restaurant befitting a world-class club was opened. Capping off these accomplishments was status as one of the top 5 clubs in America. As part of the League's strategic plan, the League's 3 separate foundations, the Abraham Lincoln, Youth Work, and Scholarship, were brought together and relocated in newly renovated and restored space on the ground floor of the Broad Street building. A successful fundraising campaign, led by League past president Frank Giordano, raised over $10 million for the construction of the foundation's new home and the provision of an endowment to give them long-term financial strength. The center was named the Sir John Templeton Center, honoring a recipient of the League's prestigious Lincoln Award in 1986 and a longtime supporter of the League's mission. The dedication of such a significant space for the purpose of civic engagement and philanthropy is unprecedented among city clubs in the United States. Its prominent location within the League House and accessibility from Philadelphia's Avenue of the Arts makes two clear and bold statements, both to members and the general public. The first is about the importance of sharing the League's priceless historical collections, which are to be housed in the new center's archives and library. The second is reconfirmation of the continued relevance and value of the League's charitable activities to the broader Philadelphia community. From its publications and charitable activities during the Civil War, to its current work in preserving and interpreting the rich history of the Union League and educating and inspiring young people, the Union League of Philadelphia has demonstrated that the responsibility of all Americans is to not only love one's country, but also to work tirelessly to improve it. The outreach initiatives of the past 150 years are a vital part of the Union League's culture and daily life. The League continues to be inspired by its motto, "Love of Country Leads."